faces a strong challenge from former military ruler Muhammadu Buhari. Solomon Izang Ashoms is a journalist and commentator and joins us now to look at Nigerian polls tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, Solomon.
Pleasure, Tavi.
Now, this election is a tight race. Who do you think is going to emerge victorious and why?
It's indeed going to be very, very close. And the polls and research and surveys that I've actually followed is at one point it was Buhari. If the election was held on the 14th of February, that was the first date that was initially given, Buhari would have won, maybe with about 62%. But the last few weeks, Goodluck Jonathan has been able to reinforce, and he's been going around visiting traditional leaders within the country. And traditional leaders are very key leaders in Nigeria, because when they speak, the subjects listen to them and they go out and cast for whoever they endorse. And he's been going around actually giving them some sort of money. It's been said he gave quite a lot of them about $250,000 US. So he's telling you it's a do or die affair. And they're kingmakers. They decide who governs. I think it's going to be extremely close. We spoke about the youth in Nigeria. I felt the youth in Nigeria right now are right behind Buhari because of insecurity, because there's unemployment everywhere. So it affects them, and they want to be able to say, look, we want to have a say in this country, and this is their perfect opportunity. They've been waiting for it. But I think it's going to be extremely very close. But I think General Muhammadu Buhari, he has a good chance of coming back for security reasons. He was a military general. He served in the Nigerian army, and he was also a commander during the Biafran War in the 1960s. So people are really saying, look, we have to deal with Boko Haram. We spoke about the girls, 200 girls. There's no way we're going to find these girls. I've been saying this for a long time. It's sad, but there's no way we're going to get the 200 girls back together. And Goodluck has been there for 6 years. Now, nothing has been done. He came out and confessed that, look, I didn't take them serious and all that kind of stuff. And as a leader, for you to say that, is really something that it says a lot about your leadership. And people are looking at him as a weak leader. And Nigeria needs a strong leader right now.
Now, Nigeria has conducted a number of elections to almost consolidate their democratic institutions. Why is it still difficult for the country to allow nationals abroad to cast their vote?
I think it's because, when you are in Nigeria, you tend to have a different perspective about governance, about leadership, about politics, like me, But once you go outside of Nigeria, you get exposed to certain democratic structures, how things are being done. There's about 3 million Nigerians living outside of Nigeria. And that's quite a lot of votes. Currently, about 37% of the country's population of, they have voters, they've registered to vote, which is about 65 million people. But you have 3 million people living outside of Nigeria, and a lot of them go out there for business, to study and all that. So they're really very much aware. And I think it's just a way to not give them a voice in the country, because the leaders are very much aware that going out of Nigeria, living outside Nigeria for a long time, you see Nigeria and Nigeria's leadership with a different eye, and you see the level of corruption, the level of poverty that is right there. They say we're the biggest economy, but I don't see how we should celebrate that, because if you look at the roads, if you look at hospitals and education, children, how they study, is really pathetic. And all that boils down to corruption. The insecurity, a lot of it is about corruption. And I think that a lot of people living outside of Nigeria, most definitely, if they had an opportunity to vote, they're definitely going to go with the general, that is Muhammadu Buhari, because Goodluck has been there for 6 years. 6 years is enough for you to turn, a country around.
Now, speaking of 6 years, let's go back to the issue of Boko Haram. There are some Nigerians on the ground saying that Goodluck Jonathan has almost used Boko Haram as a way to divert attention from failures in his government. Is there evidence to back this statement up?
There's no evidence to really back that up, but he's been able to use that to go down a bit history and blame his predecessors a little bit sometimes, himself blaming corruption within the rank of the Nigerian military force, which is something that he's trying to run away from. But before Goodluck Jonathan came into power, Boko Haram was not as violent as they are. It was when he came on board, the last last 5 years, that was when they actually started using sophisticated military equipments to really attack people, to go into towns and abduct people. And I don't feel he should be doing that. Yes, the military has been corrupt for some time, because Nigeria's corruption is everywhere, even in the church. So
you mentioned that before. Yes,
it's something that whatever problem we have in the country, you take it down. If you try to dig deep and excavate, it takes you to corruption. Yeah. But Goodluck Jonathan, I think he's been able to use that a little bit. The last few weeks, we've seen how he sent the military to go out, and every day they give reports. We've taken over this town, we've taken over Baga. Today they gave a report, they've taken over Goza, which was like the main town for Boko Haram. All that, I think, is just trying to make sure that he gets a couple of votes before tomorrow's election.
Now, Solomon, the world has often used Nigeria as a yardstick for failed democracies. How important is this election tomorrow, just in terms of how the world views Nigeria itself, but also the continent, in terms of adhering to the democracy that we so speak of, so strongly?
Nigeria has really been backwards when it comes to democracy. The third dispensation, which we're currently in, has just been 16 years now, and PDP has been, that is the People's Democratic Party, has been in power since then. There's the only party that's ruled, and Nigeria took a lot of stake from the international community, from the UN, from the US key allies that we have. Even the president of the US, Barack Obama, 2 days ago, made a special video broadcast just for Nigeria's election, and it just says how important Nigeria's role in Africa, in the West Africa, is. Nigeria is a bit backward. Ghana is more democratic than Nigeria. But if you come to look at it, Nigeria has been a leader in the western part of Africa and also in Africa. So it's very, very crucial, because it's a defining moment for Nigeria. The last election in 2011, after the elections, there was a lot of violence and about 800 people were killed. So Nigeria, this is the time that we need to really make a choice and be able to have elections that's going to be free and fair. I'm glad that for the first time we're using a voter's card, and we're also using, there's going to be a scan machine to go through it. So that is going to take a lot of rigging and manipulations and all that. And with that, maybe some sort of credibility is going to come across, and we hope to have a government that is going to be there, has been voted by the people, for the people.
All right, so we need to wrap now, but thanks for joining us. Now, if you were then eligible to vote, who would you vote for?
A lot of people said even Goodluck Jonathan should vote for Muhammadu Buhari.
I would vote for Muhammadu Buhari. There we go. So I've got your answer. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 8. Solomon.
Pleasure.